Okay. Hello to anyone who could be watching this video. If you are, then I'm glad you decided to check this out. Hope you stick along. What you're watching is a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together and plays tabletop role-playing games online. You can find all the stuff the Gauntlet does at gauntlet-rpg.com, where you find basically all sorts of cool things involved with the indie side of tabletop role-playing. There's blogs, there's forums, there is the monthly zine that the Gauntlet puts out called Codex, which usually contains supplements to existing games and original games in itself. In fact, there is a new issue that just came out called Codex Yellow 2. It's a sequel to Volume 1 issue, also called Yellow, surprisingly enough. It is all about the weird Lovecraftian horror that is the city of Carcosa. It's really cool. Check it out. You can check it out by subscribing to the Gauntlet Patreon. And there's also a big back catalog of Codex issues that you can check out. Drive Through RPG is where you can get them. There's also the podcasting network. That the Gauntlet puts out. In fact, the most recent episode of the Gauntlet podcast has two people on this table that were on quite recently. Check that out for sure. But of course, there's the Hangouts calendar, to which this game was arranged, and many more, right? Over 100 plus games of different varying strokes. You get a chance to play test some really cool games that haven't been out yet. Get try all the different kinds of story games, indie games, OSR games, Power of the Apocalypse, Forge of the Dark, Verb by the Noun, anything else that could be like that. Descended from the Queen. There we go, another one. There's quite a lot of that. So, and this is one of them. This is the third session of our 2-month-long look at Brinkwood, The Blood of Tyrants. It is a Forge in the Dark game created by the San Gennaro Co-op. For those who don't know, Forge in the Dark means that this is a hack of Blades in the Dark by John Harper. While that game is about criminals, scoundrels, ne'er-do-wells getting together to try to make it big in an industrial fantasy city. This game, Brinkwood, instead, we'll follow rebels, brigands, some would say scoundrels, others would say ne'er-do-wells, but instead they've banded together to try and topple a dystopic vampire authority that controls the land of Cardenfell through the use of powerful fey magic in the form of monstrous masks that give them lots of power. But if you're jumping in to session 3, I would advise you to go back to the first session, because that's where we kind of like explain the world building and build all the characters, and it's really cool. So check that out. But if you're just jumping into session 3, stick around. Sure, why not? Let's introduce everyone here on the table for anyone who could be watching. Start with myself. I keep forgetting because I used to stream on StreamYard that the people watching video do not see the names. So I should remember to introduce myself. Hi, my name's Leandro. I use he, him pronouns. And yeah, I'm running this game, hence why I've been talking loads. Let's go left to right on the character keeper and just introduce yourself and pronouns. If there's anything you want to like plug or shout out, feel free to do so. If not, that's perfectly fine as well. You don't need to do so. And give us a brief on your character. So I know we talked about starting in different parts of the character keeper, but this is introduction. So sorry, Alan, I'll have to rely on yourself once more, if that's all right.
That's fine. My name is Alan. I use he, him pronouns, and I am playing Drell the Foundling, also he, him. His alias is Dark, and his hobby is cooking. And Drell has sworn a pact with our Fae, who was certainly his childhood friend and maybe his lover. We have not quite exposed that yet, but certainly I think he was the first of this group of brigands to be recruited by the Fae. So his Fae pact is vengeance, and he has chosen to pick up where we left off, the Mask of Ruin. So I think that Drell is beginning to wonder, prisoners? What prisoners? Let's just spread some havoc and destruction.
Sorry, I'm flashing back to a game of Blades in the Dark I'm playing right now. And just imagine all the heat, All the heat. Um, so much heat. Um, let's see how you get on with that, Drell. Up next, Jamie, would you kindly introduce yourself and your character?
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Jamie, they, them pronouns. And yeah, so in terms of who I'm playing Betula, who is, let's see, they have sworn a pact of solidarity uh, to stand with those who are victims to the vampire lords. And Betula kind of looks like more tree-like, but there's a bit of scale folk in there. The tree bark and the scales sort of like overlap with each other, um, and they are attuned and they try to connect to the spirits of the Fae, and I think at the same time that may be why they gave themselves a little too readily to the mask of terror. Um, to try to protect the others and cause a distraction. So we'll see how that pans out. And in terms of what to plug, I just released Keepers of the Cards. It's like one of the few games that is not based on tragedy and intense feelings. It's just based on card captor psychopaths. So it's very cute. But yeah.
My childhood memories of card captors occur would tell me that there are moments of extreme, well, not extreme tragedy, but it gets dramatic. Also, I just realized sharing this, you see my 5 million tabs over there. It's fine. It's a lot of tabs. They're there for reasons. It's fine. And last but not the least, Maria, would you kindly introduce yourself and your character?
I started snooping on your tabs because I'm a terrible person. Hi, I'm Maria. I use she, her pronouns. My brain is still booting up because it's really early and I've been watching too much Netflix drama. I am playing Yannick, who uses he, they pronouns. He is our faithful friar, sun-dappled kind of person. He is basically here to regain justice for the people that he kind of grew up with. He is from the old faith and has been sort of like trying to reconnect the people to the old gods or the small gods, and kind of has been trying to keep a low profile because the vampires have been trying to suppress the old faith. But that hasn't particularly been happening because currently he has the Mask of Riot on and is maybe inciting the people to rise up. And they may have started taking notice of this willowy, sun-dappled, tall person, which we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, nothing bad comes with a little bit of riot. Some would say a lot of good things come from a little bit of riot. Yeah, bird songs are great. All right, so before we kind of jump into where we left off, because we did leave in the middle foray, I do want to talk about the safety tools that we are using for this game session. I'll draw folks back to the safety slash. Why are there two slashes? Links tab on the character keeper, and remind folks of our lines and veils. Lines are things that won't be crossed, just won't show up in fiction at all. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not gonna concentrate on them like it happens off screen, or maybe to get a sentence or two, or we're just not going to concentrate on it. There's also some stuff that are asked first, basically if they're going to be introduced into the story, into the fiction. That's something that we should talk to the table first to see if folks are okay with that. That includes for me as well, not just for everyone, but yeah, all of these are for myself to look at as well. Apologies. Sorry, start burping there. And the other tool that we'll be using is script change. For those who don't know, script change is basically a bunch of commands that we kind of use to help modulate play. Just make sure we have a bit finer control of that. If folks look at the roll for your party, there's the three main There's the three main commands that we'll be using for that involve script change. Basically, there's rewind. What it means is like when you rewind, you back up to a specific point in a scene, and we do the scene over again, avoiding whatever issue led to the rewind and trying a different way. So it could be, and it could be any issue. It could be like a name or the tone of the scene, or even just the entire scene itself. I might have some questions on what's being rewound, but if we're going for a rewind, we'll respect that. We'll rewind and try something else. There's also fast forward. When you fast forward, you fade to black, and advanced time is needed to avoid content or elements of play, or just to move forward in time. This is kind of like tied into Veils, but in that, if you need to like just move forward, we need to. We don't need to hear about X or concentrate on Y. That's perfectly fine. We'll just fast forward. And there's also pause. You call for pause if you need a break from intense scene, and honestly, for any reason really, we call pause for the action. Like if you need to break from an intense scene, like this is getting a bit much. Let's calm down. Let's take a breather. Or if you need a bio break, like you need to step away from the table for any reason. Again, any reason is fine. It could be an emergency, or you need to take a call, or you're more tired than you thought. You need to step away from the table. That's perfectly fine. Or if you're looking for clarity in a scene, a lot of stuff, a lot of info is tossed around in a Dibs Up role-playing game. So if you're looking for seeking clarity discussion about the game or content, that's another function for the pause button. And I think if for anyone who called for the effect, you can just call for resume, so we can finish with the effect and then go back to back in the fiction. And there's a cat. What's the name of that cat again, Jamie? I need to know because I've seen that cat too many times now.
This is Cassandra. What's Cassandra's full name again? Cassandra Philomena.
Cassandra, Allegra, Portia, Philomena, Paloguera, Pentagons.
She's named after a character from Dragon Age, so we just call her Cassandra.
Wait, that's Cassandra's full name in Dragon? Okay.
It is.
Okay. All right. So last time we sent off our brigands into a foray into the Shpeforth Isle. Let me just share our map of Cardenfell. And again, you'll see my ruinous amounts of tabs. Hideous. Yes, so just to remind folks here, the Brinkwood is this dense border, supposed border between the Fey world and the quote-unquote mortal world that's controlled by the vampires. And your Fey kind of leader, person who took you under care, a Fey by the name of Celadine, Coronet of the Sun, a Fey of the Summer Court, has basically asked for, if your first foray to, cause a bit of mayhem, light a fire or two, who knows. So we went to Shpeforth Isle, which is over here. I just held down my mouse thinking we're in roll 20 and pinging something that didn't work. Where a bunch of prisoners were being held and using the cover of a mask festival. Y'all came in to try to free them. You went for the subtle approach. That didn't really pan out very quickly. What we found there is in the midst of the mask festival, there is a vampire courtier or lordling by the name of, let's see, over here NPCs, Sir Morvel. Yes, he's David Tennant is cast as him, who is here to just root out any brigands who are about. Betula and Yannick, kind of a combo move, decide to incite a riot or incite some movement. So the festival is kind of turning against the vampires now, which is great. Drell has decided to go for Morvel in a more specific manner by cracking their knees. And that's where we kind of left off. We left off with the prison on... We're kind of this gaudy McMansion kind of prison. Drell and Sir Morvel's retainers in front of the prison, and this unruly crowd that Betula, you're doing your Galadriel, all shall love me in despair thing, while Yannick is running into the crowds, kind of whispering, sedition and bad thought, well, not bad thoughts, but fiery thoughts. I think that's where we left off. Yeah, I think.
Oh, and didn't like Drell stab someone or something?
Oh yeah. He cracked Morvell's knee.
Okay, yeah. There we go. Sorry. Mm-hmm.
Yes, he took on the Mask of Ruin. I'm gonna stop sharing now. That's distracting me. Yeah, original plan was subtlety. So to remind folks, if you look at the roll for your party, there's the clock for like the prison break. Which is you feel that kind of like you got the prisoners out, and then yeah, I think I'll just kind of finish the mission. But I think amidst all this, if I remember correctly, there was a detail from the previous session where music was playing in this part of Cardenfell, this weird kind of haunted sort of violin kind of music. Actually, no. It's not exactly violin. Actually, I'm gonna ask Betula this. I think as you're doing your Galadriel thing, Sir Morvell is like on his knees. His retainers are kind of like running to like cover him. He's spitting, literally spitting venom at Drell, but he's shouting stuff like, "No, you mangy cur," all that fun stuff. Oh yes, yeah, that flock would be more than filled. Yes, that's correct. Thanks, Jamie.
Oh, no worries. I just remember going like 1, 2, 6 at the dice because it's still there, so I saw it again.
Oh yes, yeah, I see it there. Yeah. Oh, there is something I want to retcon from last session. I'm gonna say because I had a thought about it and realized I don't know where I'm going with that. Those beads I mentioned aren't. I'm just gonna retcon them out, Drell, if that's okay, because I just realized. No, this is getting a bit much. We'll save those beads for later. Yeah, so I think there's this music kind of starts playing as like you've whipped this crowd into a fervor. It's coming from near the ferry, near where where the isle is like separated from the mainland. I want to ask Betula this, like, concerning like your dad, who we called Vampire Thanos. I think he must have a name. Can't call him Vampire Thanos.
But we can probably give him like not the same job, but like a big jaw. Sure, why not? Like a
jaw.
No,
yeah, big, like you can,
evil chiseled jaw. No offense
exactly.
to those with beautifully chiseled jaws. I'm just leaning into trope.
Yeah, you can have a banquet on this jaw. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Was he a man for like music or entertainment?
Oh yeah, father would. I think I would often find him just listening to music by himself in the dark with just the fireplace, like really creepy stuff. So definitely considered himself a man of taste, probably because the Countess, right, like has sort of demands it from everyone in their court to at least know music.
Yeah. So is there a particular name to this, like his favorite piece of music, which you're hearing right now? And what is that? What do you think that sounds like?
Yeah, I think, what's a good name? I think the Ode to the Darkened Heart. Let's just lean into it. Let's just go right up to it.
How does one darken a heart?
In vampire ways.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's kind of like playing as like this mist kind of starts to like rise amongst like the small like water, the river or the water that's separating this island from the mainland. This like mist starts rising as this like this dirge, for lack of a better term, starts to like play. And I think let's see, I'm trying to remember who did the last action. Was Yannick, right? He whispered some stuff.
I think so, yeah.
Yes, so I think we'll turn to Drell. Okay, Drell, Morvell is on his knees. He's called you some sort of cur, I think. And his retainers, which there's at least 5 of them, are running up to like to support him, try to help him up. I think he's trying to get on his knees, but like he's trembling. He's kind of like at your mercy despite what he's saying. What do you do, Drell?
I draw my dagger because I've just selected a blade or 2. I draw my dagger across my palm and flick my blood in his face. and then attack his retainers. I'd like to activate the mask move, a slow poison. If you poison an enemy or mark them with your blood, they cannot hide from you. You may always sense and track them.
Oh yes, because the mask asks you to not kill him.
Indeed.
Yes.
His death should be slow.
Yes. All right. So I think to activate that mask ability, you will have to spend 1 essence. If I remember. Yes. So I think that's your that's your. I think
that's the mask done.
Yeah, I think you still be wearing ruin. And I think when that blood hits his face, and he is like, he's spitting. It's almost as if like he getting hit in the face is like.
I was rather hoping he'd go like that.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think like, okay, yes. I think he will do that. Then he starts spitting because
he is a vampire.
Yes, I think like I think there's a momentary sort of and then once it touches his like tongue, because I think he's still poisoned once he got hit in the cheek, but he still puts in his tongue. But like and yeah, he just starts spitting, and I think the mask ruin, which I've described, I think it sounds like rumbling when it speaks, but I think here you just feel that rumble and like that kind of like roiling sort of thunder curling in the clouds, as if you fulfilled your oath. But you still have to fight these retainers. Yes, absolutely, because they are kind of in between you and the prison, or everyone else in the prison. So I think everyone else is in a controlled position except for you, I think, because what Yannick did raised up everyone's position. So they're in control. You went from desperate to risky. What are you rolling to fight these retainers?
Actually, I've changed my mind. I'm going to scare the living shit out of them by using command. I shall say in a very low voice, which in all of this noise no one should be able to hear, but they do. I say, "You have one chance to run away." They've just seen me diss their lord.
All right. I think that you're still risky. I think, in addition with having cracked his knee and the fact that they're kind of caught between this crowd now, I think this is great effect for sure. And yeah, I think this might finish up the foray, if that's okay with everyone else. I think there's some wrap up stuff in this aisle because there's the music playing. At least it'll fill up this prison break clock. Because I think scaring away Morvel's, I'm forgetting his name already. Morvel is kind of like, it's going to clear a lot. But let's see how this works first. Risky, great. You've got 2 in command. Do you want to push yourself or take a mask bargain? Or
I will take stress to help.
Ooh, yes. How are you helping?
Yeah, I'm going to say that the energy is just pouring off of me, like it's almost Cthulhu-like, and like it just radiates all of this dread and horror. So I'm definitely going to take stress. Let me just quickly look.
I've just noticed that your mask has a move called Frighten.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm definitely leaning into that for sure. I'm also trying to hit my XP mark of you instill terror into the heart of an oppressor. So that's what I'm doing. I didn't have to say that voice, but it was fun. Okay, yeah, I'm going to mark the stress.
Okay, so you got 3 dice. Do you still want to like push yourself or take a bargain, Drell? You're muted, Alan.
Remind me of the consequences of pushing myself.
Yes. Let me double check. I think it's still the same.
Yeah, you take 2 stress. Yeah, it's the same. It's
okay.
As far as no worries.
Yeah, I think I'm prepared to take that risk. So I will roll the 3 dice in front of me and then roll another one.
Yes.
That's a 6 and 2 4s. So it matters if I re-roll the 6 and it comes up 6 again. That can't be a bad thing, can it?
Oh yeah, no, it can't be a bad thing. You already got the 6.
It didn't.
but you know what the heck. Okay, so yeah, I think these retainers are kind of caught, they're caught between a rock and a hard place. I think two of them just kind of like grab Morvel by the armpits. He's still spitting. He's like, and they kind of like drag him away, at least into the village, and yeah, I think that the rest kind of like they scarper, for sure. I think you standing, you Drell, you standing in front of this like horrible McMansion prison, just like dagger drawn out, and and this crowd in a frenzy. Yeah, I think you've pretty much done it. I think we're not gonna leave this foray just yet. I think I will say that like things are done, but there's still some wrap up to do. I think Yannick, you in the crowd, I'm kind of imagining that if it's okay, maybe like Drell or Betula or one of you, who's leading the crowd into the prison to like take the prisoners out. Actually, that'll be interesting. I'll ask who.
I think that has to be Yannick, doesn't it?
Because Yannick was the one like seeding the sows of discord. I'm gonna stop using this voice. Sorry, just like really getting into it.
I'm not going to stop using this one.
I can't do a voice. Yeah, I can see if it could be Yannick. Kind of like, and I don't know if they're like leading, but they're kind of like shepherding people forward. Like that's what he does. So like instead of one person in front of all these people with the torches and pitchforks or whatever, I don't know if they have that. They're kind of, it's a line, like a mass, like the wave breaking against the prison walls.
Yeah, I think when you lead them, when you find the prisoners, Yannick, I think what you'll see is that like nearly all of them, and I'm gonna say there's like probably maybe like 6 to 7 sort of prisoners here. They look in various states of distress, but I think you'll notice that like at the very least one of them is like, you notice they're wearing kind of like the vestments. You recognize their vestments, I think. And when you kind of walk in, you're still probably wearing, I don't know, your fancy mask clothing. But I think you recognize one of them. I'm imagining this like fairly this lady in like her 40s, kind of like short blonde hair. So try to figure out how to get a picture of that then. Short blonde hair, kind of like just stands, and she's like kind of like standing for like all these other prisoners, and she says, "Have you come to deliver us from this place?"
Yannick like probably like bows his head and says, "No, I've just come to open the door."
I think like this lady's kind of like just close her eyes and just kind of like nod as if she's not saying, it's practically the same thing, but practically it's the same thing. And I think like she'll kind of like direct you to like help you. There are some folks who are like need some help getting out here. There's one of them has a broken like leg or something, and I think like as kind of like maybe the other people are kind of taking the prisoners out, I think this lady like sidles up kind of to you again, Yannick, and says, "Who do we have to thank for this deliverance, dear boy?"
Do we as a group have a name for ourselves?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think we may be about to be given a name.
Is this a title drop?
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck figuring out a name for a crew. That's always the hardest part. A crew.
Yeah, can we say it cuts right before, like Yannick opens their mouth, and then we'll just say later what it was, really dramatic.
Yeah, that sounds very good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the previously on.
Yeah, and I think oh, go ahead.
Like he just makes an expansive gesture that like encompasses everyone.
We cut. No, yeah, we cut to like the opening credits, the opening titles, and I think when we come back from the opening titles, I think like, hey, Betula, I'm gonna say you didn't go into the prison. I think the music kind of like draws you away from the crowd. Don't worry, like nothing too bad is happening. I think because it's a very familiar kind of music, and I think
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
It's coming from the where the ferry is, where like the water is, and I think it's hard because it's a weird mist that's just kind of like emerged from the ground, and I think when you're kind of like standing by the water, at least by the banks, I think coming out of the mist is this boat. It's a small kind of raft, kind of boat. So it's only it's not the biggest sort of thing, but I think you'll notice that like there's one person kind of like sitting kind of daintily on the boat, and there's a big umbrella over them, kind of like a really fancy sort of cream umbrella, and this person, you can tell it's a she's wearing a very nice dress on this raft, this sort of purple kind of velvet, big cravat. And again, I should just be looking at this Pinterest board instead of coming up with something. But yeah, she's playing a violin. But the weird thing is that like, even though it's a violin, it's playing your father's favorite music, and it's just coming out of the violin. And here's also, then you notice that there's like a second person on that raft. There's an unconscious person there, and it's Luhan. And I think like the lady on the boat sees you, and just kind of like she lights up and says, "Lady Betula, I was hoping you'd join us."
And I think just to say like the mask sort of splits to show my face, and what do I owe the pleasure to this meeting? But my eyes are like on my brother, like I'm not, like...
Your father sends you his love. I think she's still playing the music.
Love.
He misses you.
That's strange. I don't recall that ever being present in that foul heart of his.
Even the foulest of hearts can learn to cultivate affection, especially when absence is there to help that cultivation.
Well, my lady, you have me at a disadvantage. You know me, but I am afraid I don't know you.
I think like she kind of like nods in like satisfaction, so like, yeah, I'm mysterious. Oh, you would not have known of me during your time at your father's court. I am merely one rising above the ranks. You may call me Maeve. And
Maeve.
And fret not, I have not come here to drag you and your brother back. No. Your Lord Father has insisted that the two of you walk back to his arms with heads held high and no regrets on coming back.
And if we don't?
The music changes. Instead, what's your lover's favorite song?
Ooh, I would say it's The Hidden Garden.
Yeah, and I think she very like does the thing where like she very like she changes her direction of how she's playing the violin, and instead of that father's favorite music, it's like it's your lover's voice coming from the violin, and it's singing The Hidden Garden. In like, I think you can tell like you've heard them sing this better in better circumstances. it's like way more plaintive. It's way more sad. And I think as she's doing that, she kind of like she kicks Luhan awake, uh, and it was like and she says, "Your father's invitation. Consider it Consider it an open one for now. If there's no inclination of your presence in, you will be generous. A month's time. If you have no answer, well," and I think she cuts the music, and it's like this, not record scratch, a string scratch. She's like,
Don't worry, Maeve. I understand the cruelty of my father. Though I do worry for you, enjoying it so. He will corrupt you like he has corrupted everything else he touches. But consider the message received.
I think like she kind of like smiles, and I think when she smiles, it's it kind of cuts against her like genteel sort of figure. It's a cutting sort of smirk when you say like when you warn her. And I think Luhan will like get off the boat, and you can have him, and she kind of like drifts back into the mist, and when the mist kind of like dissipates, she's gone. But you free
Yeah,
the
I
prisoners.
immediately rush to Luhan, make sure he's all right. And I think I want to say that I feel like the mask was telling me to do something, but because I heard my lover's voice, I
Yeah.
held back.
Yeah, I think the mask is like I've described. Lies does a staccato kind of whisper, but I think the music was kind of like overpowering it a bit. So you all you could hear was like kind of the music that she was playing. Um, but yeah, well we've cleared up that foray anyway. Cool. So we're kind of like at the top of the hour. I need to get some water because this coffee has
Done its job.
Yeah, it's not even lukewarm. It's past that. So let's say it's come back at the top of the hour. Let everyone get some more water if they need to, or more coffee if they need to. And we'll come back in for downtime and some free play and see how these characters go. So yeah,
Very cool.
see you all at the
See you
top
in a
of the
bit.
hour. All right, so we are gonna go into downtime. So I'm gonna go through in the PDF kind of like the procedure is, and then we're just gonna go to like free play and whatnot. So, okay, now the perils of having far too many tabs is which Brinkwood tab is, is the procedure. Okay, all right, cool. So after the band completes a foray, either through success or by retreating, they return to their refuge in order to recover, regroup, and prepare for their next expedition. This is downtime. So it's a break for the players. So basically, we're gonna relax, catch our breath a bit, focus on quieter moments of the game, and there are some special. And secondly, there's some special rules that are only allowed during the downtime phase. They're kept out of the way during the other parts of play. So there are 4 parts to downtime. First thing we're gonna do is payoff. After a foray, the PCs take stock of what they've gained. A successful foray may add resources or contraband to the refuge, gain rep for the band, add ticks to an allied faction's goal clock, or add ticks to a location's sedition clock. Sorry, I'll explain what all those mean when we get to those. But we're going to start with resources and contraband. If you want to like keep up in the PDF, it's page 119, which digitally is page 128. Is where we are. So the band earns blood sterling based on what loot they seize and the scale of the operation. So you get 2 for like a minor foray, like several purses, whatnot. A small attack will get you 4, like a strong box. 6 will be standard foray, decent loot, and 8 will be like a big ambush, serious loot. You kind of empty the prison out. And yeah, it's a fairly newish prison, but it's still kind of a prison. So I'm gonna say this is 6. 6 pretty good. So you've got 6 blood sterling. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're gonna start with that. and bartering. So you may trade and/or redistribute up to a total amount of blood sterling equal to community sedition plus sedition level. I don't know. I don't think any community has sedition at the moment yet, but I think you can still do it. For each blood sterling you trade, you gain 1 supply. For each blood sterling you redistribute, you gain 1 sedition. Redistribute is basically just you're just giving them the contraband, the blood sterling basically.
Remind me the value of blood sterling outside being, cash, inverted commas.
The thing is, I mean, in the fiction, it's the grim currency of in the Bloody Isles. It's exchanged for goods and services. It is basically just used at this point to gain supply, and supply gets you extra downtime activities. Basically anything else that you don't use to get supply, you kind of just give away because, spread the love. There are communities who need it more than you, for sure.
Yeah, and vampires on a creepy level can use it to increase their powers if they want to. It's really gross.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll say we'll have this amount of blood, and then we'll probably get to bartering and stuff later, if that's okay, because it's a lot to get into right now. I'll come back to it. The band also earns contraband. Wow. Band. Contraband is something else. It's black powder, ashwood, or steel, but only if the operation was specifically undertaken to seize these goods, or if an opportunity to acquire them was taken, which I don't think it was. You just freed some prisoners, so we'll leave it for there. Okay, so we have all that blood at the moment. We'll come back to those later. Heat. Cardenfell full of prying eyes, and a performance loyal to the Crimson Crown. Anything you do might be witnessed, and there's always evidence left behind. Gee, I wonder how much evidence was left behind. After a foray or conflict with an opponent, your crew takes heat according to the nature of the operation. 0 heat for smooth and quiet, low exposure. Okay, I'm not going to dignify that. Would you say? Okay, I'm going to hear it out. I'm oscillating between 4 and 6 heat. I'm leaning towards 6. Because you kind of incited a riot.
Oh, but we didn't kill people. So
that's true.
Also...
But that means you don't get
we
extra
did break the leg of a vampire.
He's alive. He was able to walk away.
I say we.
Yeah.
Don't worry, your actions are our actions. We accept it. We're a band. It's okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna state 6. It's the biggest debut your band could do. One of them was doing a Galadriel thing, an evil Galadriel thing. Another one was cracking someone's knees. Poor Yannick is just nothing to do with this.
Let's face it, that is the bit of Galadriel we all remember from the film.
Right.
That is true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So
6.
where does heat go?
Oh, it goes in locations. I should rename these. Yeah. They should be that should be just reference or locations. Cardenfell reference. That's where heat is. Add +1 heat for a high-profile, well-connected target. Nope, I don't think that happened. Shpeforth Isle is Shpeforth Isle. Add +1 heat if the foray or conflict took place in a high-security location. Even though it's a prison, clearly it wasn't the best guarded prison. Add +2 heat if a vampire noble, a lone fang or higher, was killed. Well, you're lucky you didn't kill your man then. Cool. So you mark heat levels on the heat tracker and the refuge sheet or map of Cardenfell. Not yet. Okay, no, that's playtest stuff. When your heat level reaches 10, Cardenfell gains a tyranny level and you clear your heat. So you're quite there. If a foray accomplished objective that would lead to the completion of a friendly faction's goal, filling ticks in the faction's strength. I don't think. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think any of the factions you're affiliated with, their goals. I don't think this really went with that. And this is more you. This is not really to do with your faction, any factions you're friendly with. This is more a you thing, as in your group. Cool. Oh yeah, the factions are in the refuge sheet. So basically, refuge is for your group specifically and your relations with that group. Locations is for the wider world of Cardenfell. If that makes sense. Okay, so within with factions.
So just if suppose that is faction strength represented by sedition, or separate from?
Oh, that's separate from sedition is the locations, not the factions. So that's a bit different. Like factions are like, groups that are probably spread around the place. Locations are like, this group likes you, or this group is into sedition, or this group doesn't like you. Actually, we're gonna go into that. So sedition is after faction strength. Sedition measures how sympathetic a location is to the rebellion and progresses by stages. In general, villages have 6-segment sedition clocks, and towns have 8-segment sedition clocks. After a foray, fill in ticks depending on the activities performed. 1 tick, mildly seditious activities, such as making contacts, just making friends, it'll be fine. 2 ticks, easily seditious activities, such as ambushing a guard or 2, or setting up a cache of supplies. 4 ticks for moderately seditious activities, such as creating a cell of agents, stockpiling weapons, assassinating a collaborator. Or you can get 6 ticks for majorly seditious activities, such as, oh, whoops, I accidentally turned off my camera. Why did I do that? Come on. Okay,
it's
cool.
the excitement.
Yeah. Assassinated official, attacking the vampire lord's servants, staking a vampire, destroying a guard post. This seems like destroying a guard post. So 6 ticks for Shpeforth Isle.
Right, so heat for sedition, not bad. That's okay.
Yeah, this is good. Because when you fill up the sedition clock, it actually ups your status with them, which means you get to trade, more blood sterling with them for supplies. You do have some locations that have a +1 with you, so you can trade with them. And this foray was to build relations with Shpeforth Isle, so it makes sense. Add 1 more tick, +1 tick each if you aided a community by filling a need for freedom. Could be a need, yeah.
Can I just mechanically, if at the top of this section we had decided to give Shepford sterling equal to sedition plus sedition level at the point where they weren't seditious, because the order matters here, doesn't it? Because we could give them 1 blood sterling and increase their sedition to 1, or 2 blood sterling, increase it to 2. And then when we get further down the sequence, our effect was to give them 6 sedition, which would be 8. Whereas if we do it the other way around, it's going to be very expensive to get the next seditious step. I'm just putting that on the table. I don't know whether that order is meant to matter, but it does.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think actually, hold on. If I remember correctly, in another sheet, it does say, oh, this is when you can only do bartering. I think there was an order, but I decided to skip it around because I've forgotten what the order is. But that makes sense, yeah. I think,
I forgot the order. I was the kind of the GM that would be like, so, handle it on your own.
Well,
in between sessions.
I suppose what I'm saying is that, do we think we should spend 2 sedition?
Right. Yeah. So we can see what the order is.
Just crack this ceiling.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm imagining as you were on the way out, just throw it back at them. Here for the people.
That's what I was wondering.
No, but let's double check the order.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Faction. Okay. Tell them payoff. Where am I? Let's see. Payoff. Heat. Entanglements, not activities. Yeah, I think bartering was meant to happen once we got the blood sterling. But because I passed that over, I think we can do it now. Let's do it after we finish up sedition, because I think there's still 1 or 2 more ticks. Can add to this. So here's 6 to 8. Add +1 if you add another tick if you aid a community by filling a need. I suggested you fulfilled its need for freedom. So that's another tick. And did you learn something new about Shpeforth Isle? I already kind of knew there was a mask festival. That's about it. Or did you make a sacrifice for them?
Can I just did Yannick discover that the prisoners were all of the old faith, or was that just a kind of aside?
Did I just notice that there's that one who had the vestments that matched?
Yes. Yeah, she was kind of like speaking for them.
Okay.
For the other prisoners.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we did learn something.
Yeah.
You know, are they
like they're targeting. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll go for that.
We said targeting at the same time. It must be true.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When two people say the same thing at the same time, yeah, that means the jinx of truth. Yes, exactly, Maria. Okay, so filling up a sedition clock. When the location sedition clock fills, they become, seditious. And the rebellion gets a level status in that town. And this also means moving up a tick on the reputation track. So you now have a rep of +1, which is great. And you now have a rep status of 0 with the Isle of Shpeforth. I think...
which is better than where it was.
Yeah, exactly. The foray did what it's meant to do.
Yeah, they no longer fear that we are involved in witchcraft, despite seeing me do that. Just normal stuff.
Yeah,
but it's good witchcraft.
Yes, I was about to say that. So now they realize that witchcraft works for them.
Yeah, and you did save the religious minister lady. I think that helps as well. Okay, so let's do the bartering here, just because we kind of skipped it over. So to remind folks, you may trade and / or redistribute up to a total amount of blood sterling equal to community sedition plus sedition level. For each blood sterling you trade, you gain 1 supply. For each blood sterling you redistribute, gain 1 sedition. Note, this does not raise the cap on the sterling you can use during this barter phase. Note, any blood sterling you're not able to add to your stockpile is lost only after this bartering phase is concluded. You just give it to the poor. So, to remind folks what supply does, supply lets you, get extra downtime actions in case you need it. So you have a lot of...
I know that it's a terrible thing to say, but I don't think we should be giving any to the poor at this point unless it's in return for something. Because this is very early on in our campaign. I think we can play proper Robin Hood when we've got a bit under our belt.
Right.
That's Drell's view.
Just one. Yannick's I think I would want to give at least 1 away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're gonna give it to. I don't mind giving it to Shpeforth, right? To help, because the way I see it is to raise a sedition, but it's also to help give them the money they need to be seditious with, right? Invest in whatever they need to protect them.
Yeah.
No, I think Yannick is talking about just giving them money. And I could be argued
they can
up to
do
giving
whatever
them...
they want.
Exactly. I could be argued up to giving 1 away.
It's up to y'all. I'm just here to click at the.
Well, sorry, I'm so bad at the math part. How much do we need to give to break through that ceiling Alan was talking about?
Oh, you already broke.
Oh no, we've done that.
Oh, we have.
We did that just by 6 + 2 ones. So
amazing.
they've reset to 0 because we have to get them back up to 8 to go up another level.
In
relationship.
Yeah, but it does say here that when you trade or distribute, you up to a total amount of blood sterling equal to a community sedition plus sedition level. Right now, Shpeforth is 0 + 0. So I think they're fine.
Right. Okay.
You might want to look to the other communities.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe we could. Let's see. I'm looking at.
So yeah, you've got a +1 with Hogswick. That's where the diggers are. You got a +2 with Flaypool. Hence why you had that -1 with Shpeforth.
Right.
You have a +1 with the Veins. That's where the prayers are, who are the people who look after the old faith and whatnot. You have a +1 with Cliffs Black, where the Stokers are. Stokers are arsonists and radicals devoted to burning down everything the vampires hold. Lovely folks. And yeah, that's about it. Any other places, you're gonna have to make like forays to like make friends.
Right. I get it.
Yeah.
What do we think? I kind of don't mind the Veins because I feel like it would make sense story-wise because we did rescue. Are these like maybe they're connected to the people who we freed in some way? But
yeah.
What does everybody think?
Yannick, you're the most generous among us.
I mean,
where do you want to put your share?
Your share.
My share is 1, really. Yeah, I mean, I was sort of thinking I'd go back to the community that we rescued, but I also don't particularly know where mechanically it would be best to put it.
Yeah, mechanically, you can't put it back to the community you rescued because you can only give them an amount of blood sterling. Yeah, equal to their sedition plus their level, which they don't have any at the moment because they just reset. So mechanically, you can't give back to them.
Okay. I mean, we can get to the prayers.
Yeah. If you look in the Cardenfell map, the veins are like near the south. They're kind of like all those little inlets. They're broken up in by the river, splitting about marshy place, I'd say. So do you want to trade with them, which is to get you 1 supply, or do you want to redistribute, which gets them a sedition level gets them 1 sedition level, or at least 1 tick in their sedition clock?
I was thinking redistribute, but do people want supplies? Is there like location specific supplies or?
No, you just trade.
I think we're okay with supplies. I'm double checking because we currently have 4, which is pretty good.
Yeah, where did that come from?
So
I'm quite interested in.
we don't have 4 supplies.
Ashwood and steel.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you do have 4 supplies. Yeah.
But yeah, let's give the veins 1 and increase their sedition by 1. Is that how it works? I think that's how it works, isn't it?
Yes. So I'm gonna take away 1 blood from yourselves. Whoops, wrong checkbox. You still got 5. Jesus, a lot of blood. For first foray, that's a lot of blood sterling. I should clarify, blood sterling, not just. Well, it is blood, but it's blood fashioned into money. So
yeah. I think and then we could spend 1. Maybe you could spend 2. 1 Ashwood, 1 steel. What do you think, Drell?
Why would we only spend 1?
Oh no, I mean 2. Like we're gonna spend 2, 1 for 1. Sorry, I'm super bad with numbers.
We've got 5 left. Why don't we spend 2 on Ashwood and 2 on steel?
Sure, I'm okay with that.
It's just we're running out of stuff to spend it on, aren't we?
I will say blood sterling. I'm just check here. You can hold on to that. You can add a +1 die to engagement rolls as well.
Oh, I see. So it does have some mechanical weight outside just being a rate of exchange. Okay.
Yes, there's also.
Well, then what about putting 2 into Ashwood, 2 into steel? That leaves us 1 in the pot for the next engagement roll.
Yeah.
After which we'll have another 6.
And then we can, if we really need the blood sterling, we can like attack. We can say the next foray will be to attack a, what do you call it? Like those money cards, like a bank thing, like as they're moving the blood sterling.
Jesus. Okay. Of all this now.
Now, again, I'm struggling with locations and factions. So the factions are on the refuge sheet: diggers, stokers, witches, prayers. The fact we've invested a blood sterling in the veins, which ostensibly has a prayer kind of connection, but it's in the veins we've invested that, not necessarily in the prayers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like investing in a town, but not in an organization in the town. Like the town gets it, but like not necessarily a group in that town. Okay. So, tyranny. As you gain notoriety, the vampire lord of Cardenfell will attempt to track down on your activities, allies, and the communities you aid. Every time your heat cock fills up, Cardenfell gains an additional level of tyranny, which you're fine right now. You're 4 heat away from going up in tyranny. But we'll say, as tyranny rises, the vampire's actions will grow more vicious, focused, and dangerous. Right now, they're kind of too busy infighting with their own schemes to consider you much of a threat. Although Dad Vampire Thanos is definitely on the lookout.
We do need a name for Vampire Thanos.
Ooh, there's a good generator. Wait. Let me look it up. It's like an excellent vampire name generator. Seventh Sanctum. You can visit seventhsanctum.com. So let's see. Mail. Okay. I'll say the name is. Ooh, these are all good. Wow, Enoch Loveless. Woohoo!
Wow.
Let's go with
Loveless. That's
Marquis Creighton. That sounds so. You want to punch that name? Here you go.
Oh man, the Marquis Creighton. Yeah. All right, that's his name. Daddy.
have to pick a punchable name, you know.
It's a Creighton is like seems like a very straightforward name compared to like Betula and Luhan.
But it's all in the spelling.
It's all in the spelling. Yeah. Okay. So Jeremy, I want to ask you again. There's a bit where at the start it says roll for entanglements, but I don't think it's on the PDF.
Oh, it isn't? Oh shoot. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. Where is it? I had a GM thing. Is it in the GM? Let me double check.
Yeah, I think it's in the. Let's see. Oh, I think it's here in the campaign reference.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember there's like I would refer to the. I'm gonna be honest. Like Eric babied me. I'd run the game. And then he'd be like, okay, I'll do the entanglements. I'm like, thanks, Eric. Like, I'll leave all the hard work to you. But I know there's like a table to roll against.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the table, and I'm kind of finding it hard to parse. Hold on.
Ooh, what page is it?
It's its own sheet. Let me share it, actually.
Sure, that's cool. I keep forgetting how good Zoom is.
Yeah. So,
oh yeah, here we go. Yeah. So
I think what I'm struggling is like how much dice to roll, because we have tyranny of 0 at the moment.
Yeah. I think let me just go back in time, right? Because the campaign has been going on for a while.
Apologies.
No, it's okay. It's cool. Actually, it helps me. Actually, if I recall, the first few forays, because we didn't hit the first level of tyranny, they kind of ignored us, right? Like the vampires were just fighting amongst themselves. Like all Eric would do would be write like a flash, like what's going on for them and how we were beneath them. So, for example, they'd be like, "Oh, the nobles are twittering about us," and
need to get off their Twitters.
Yeah. But yeah, basically, so we're not yet there, right?
Okay. All right.
As far as I remember,
in terms of the number of dice, Leandro, it seemed to me that it's always 2 dice. It's just as you go across, you go from do nothing to march an army.
That's right. Yeah. So maybe
because if you roll more than 2 dice, the first column and the second column, you're just going to have choices to make.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Because actually, when we looked at it, there was a lot of do nothing, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right. I see how it is. All right. Okay. I'm gonna roll 2 dice then. 2d6.
Cool.
See how this goes. All right. That's a 5 and a 2. So. Collect taxes. Okay.
Yeah, straightforward stuff to begin with.
Okay. All right. So basically, start at 4 o'clock and move any unit from village to village. If filled, the brigands lose 2 rep. Okay. Simple enough. So there's a tax man wandering about. And I'll give them a name. Actually, I'll give them a name and come up with how you find them out in a moment once we do downtime. But yeah, I'm going to. Oh my gosh. Okay. I love that Beatles.
I'm definitely thinking that we should ambush the money. You know, this is the abbot, the rich abbot on his way to Nottingham, isn't it? You know, it's just asking for it.
Okay.
I like how Leandra's like, what kind of monsters are these?
No, it's fine. Look, the vampire taxman. We'll see once you meet the taxman. I will give a name, but we'll get to that.
Ooh, I'm gonna do a generator thing again.
Okay. I think you probably like just want to electricity before. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna filter in about this tax person later. Let's do downtime, the proper downtime activities. If you look at the player reference sheet that's on the folder, scars. It's at the very second last page. Each PC gets 2 downtime actions. You may spend supplies for extra downtime actions. So the downtime actions you've got there is long-term project. Spend your downtime working on a long-term project. And describe what your character. When you work on a long-term project, either a brand new one or already existing one, describe what your character does to advance the project clock and roll one of your actions. The way to like conceptualize downtime projects or long-term projects, as it's explained to me, is that like imagine them as like ways to break the game, basically. I've had some like when I was running Band of Blades and someone started a project like sick and tired of all these rookies dying. I'm going to start a project to do survival training, and mechanically what it did is that like it instead of the worst effects when we fail a mission roll, a secondary mission roll, we just get to choose if we want the rookies to die or for our veterans to take harm. So that's kind of like what long-term projects are. Or it could be something else, like, you know, where's me mom? That's kind of project that could open up like more venues
for forays and stuff. Yeah,
for forays and whatnot. I'm looking also at the PDF. There are 2 unique long-term projects called fletching and gathering supplies. When you fletch arrows, you gather ashwood and refine it into ashes to mask your presence, and arrows and sticks to attack vampires. When you gather supplies, you gather the necessities your band needs to survive and thrive. These are 4 clock action long-term projects, and you get ashwood or supplies at the end of them. So those are like specific different long-term projects. There's also recover. So you spend 1 supply and receive aid. This removes bans. I didn't get to introduce bans, so don't worry about it. Nobody has a ban on them yet. Bans are things for forays. We'll get to that when we get to our next foray. Y'all were doing so well. You don't need bans. There is reconnect, which is unmark all personal associates or 1 expert. I think the only person who needs to do that is Drell, because you used up your associate. So basically, it's just like this is so you can use your associate again when you're gathering info for your next foray. You can reduce heat, which you might want to do.
Definitely gonna do, yeah.
Yeah, say what your character does to reduce the heat level of the crew and make an action roll. Maybe you consort with your friend who's able to make a few incriminating dispatches disappear. Maybe you hunt collaborators and spies and reduce heat depending on the dice roll. And then there's rest. Narrate how your character spends their time resting and recovering from the stresses of the rebellion. Move stress according to rebellion's current position on the rep track. So fairly straightforward. Each person gets 2. So give you all a moment to think about what your character would be doing. And then just...
Well, I've got a very easy decision. Given that my stress currently sits at 4 or 7, I do need to relieve stress. Now, remove stress indicated by rep.
Yes.
If I go to locations, rep is currently +1.
Yes. So yeah, unlike normal Fortune in the Dark, where you have to roll, this time you just lose 1 stress. Because in this game you have, you know, mask essence, you've got bands. I should have introduced bands so you didn't have to push yourself. So there are different ways.
No, I think it's okay. Yeah, because bands are pretty serious, so it's totally okay. Yeah. I think
so you will just lose 1 stress then, Drell.
Well, I'm going to spend both my actions resting to get that stress down to 2.
Okay. So yeah, what does that look like when Drell
Yeah.
rest?
What's
Ah,
you use your hobbies, so you're cooking your
yeah,
stress away. Nice.
I think that when we find out what the other characters are doing with this downtime, in every montage that sees them doing something interesting, Drell is cooking.
You know what I'm seeing? You know that there's a YouTube channel where there's this person who just cooks out in the wilderness, right? I'm thinking that's what it looks like. Like
Huh.
it's very calming. It's a nice channel.
Always hunched over, because we worked out we've got a kind of subterranean-y in the roots kitchen, don't we? So you know, as the others describe what they're doing, I think I'll insert a Drell.
Okay, so what is everyone else doing? What are they up to? Oh, remove 2
Yeah.
stress, Drell.
Do you have an idea already, Yannick? Or
Yeah. I think I'm gonna start a long-term project.
Ooh.
I think what I want to do is to like start a little spiring, kind of talking to my connections, the other people who are sort of secretly pursuing the old faith, like that woman from the prison, and just like going to the little towns around us, just like, you know, insinuating some things.
Okay, I'm gonna say, because Cardenfell is kind of big, and
Mm-hmm.
These seems fairly serious. This is like an 8-step
Okay.
project. What action are you gonna roll? Oh, and the long-term projects, they're in the refuge tab. You have to scroll to the right to see the table of long-term projects.
yeah, so and it's a public clock. Like, can we all work on it, Yannick, in future like downtime actions?
Yeah.
Inspiring. And this is going to be 8 steps. So yeah, what action are you rolling to start off this project?
I think it's going to be sway.
I guess you have to convince people to.
Yeah. Sounds like sway.
Yeah. All right. So roll 1d6. Roll your sway, and then we'll kind of like color how it goes. Your project.
It's 3 rolls.
What do we get?
That's a 6.
Hey. So on a 6, you get 3 segments. So yeah, what does it look like with Yannick starting off?
Well, I think like part of what happened, I remember vaguely putting on my mask, and like one of the things that happened was that people started to take notice of Yannick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like working off that sort of that quiet notoriety, they basically like they talked to that woman that they rescued from the prison, and then like, oh, do you know anyone else who is kind of like you, like in hiding? And then it's just like a montage of Yannick walking places and just like having chats with nice folk and being like, oh, we are starting this little tiny thing. Maybe you could just like hit us up if you know anything interesting.
Yeah, I kind of want to like. I think after the first couple of days of that, I think there's like a moment where like, you're out of the Brinkwood. You're probably being this tree. You're meeting with that woman whose name is Iona,
Okay.
the minister lady, and I think like she's at least gotten to know your name. This, and I think like you're just looking at some village, and she's saying like, I wonder, Yannick, what it is you hope to achieve with this network you're creating.
Well, the Countess has taken so much away from all of us. It's only fair that we should start to build it up again. And the more connected we all are, the easier that becomes.
When was it last you heard the voices of the gods, Yannick?
They're more like whispers now. They're not so loud as they used to be.
And I hope by our actions we may raise their voices up again.
That can only be what we want.
And I think like there's this like 30-second sort of silence as she's kind of pondering something. And I think she speaks up. It's almost very sudden. That mask of yours, Yannick, does it speak? Is it one of our gods?
And I think Yannick, like, I don't know if I have the mask on me. Do I have the mask on me? But like, he looks away and says, if it is, it's one that we should speak to only sparingly.
I think that she nods at that. That is unfortunate to say your burden, Yannick. But should you need help with that burden, well, you know who to turn to.
I can only hope that this is not something that would need to be passed on.
It would be a loss if, I think like she really wants to say something, but I think she just kind of shakes her head and says, well, I can only wish you good fortune.
My fellows and I would be grateful for any fortune that you can send our way.
I think you can add her then as an associate.
Yeah. Okay.
Iona. And I'll say for just to get it sneak in Drell's cooking time, I think probably he has a big meal when you get back from this project. If that's okay.
Lots of little meals, and then whenever he's done, there's a big meal. So we see him, he's preparing some fowl, probably plucking the feathers from a fowl at this point in the montage.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Betula, what's your first downtime action?
I am reducing that heat. For sure. I plan on using both my actions to reduce heat. We'll see how it goes. So other people can do what they like. No worries.
So yeah, what are you doing to reduce heat?
I was planning to do something more normal, but after Yannick said we talked to the mask sparingly, I was like, I think I'm going to use a tune to connect to the Mask of Terror and to those who are looking for us or hunting for us. Give them nightmares that will make it difficult for them to look for us or distort their memories of what happened. That's yeah.
Okay, so I think roll that first and then we'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes.
But yeah, I think Betula is like in the roots of the tree. We only see their eyes glittering as they commune with the mask.
Yeah, I think like the mask we've described as kind of communicating a staccato kind of whisper. I think when you're kind of like spreading its influence, it's whispering so quickly
nice.
that you can barely tell what it's saying. It's kind of like a deluge. Well, not a deluge, but like, it's just so fast. Like they could be just, I don't know, reading out from this book and you can't make out what they're saying. Okay, I'm not gonna start reading this page from the book. So yeah, roll a tune. See what
I got a 6. I got a 2 and a 6. So terrifying, these 2s.
Yeah, I think. See, what did I tell you? If I run a Fortune Dark game, everyone rolls a 6. It's fine.
Jinx it. I'm so superstitious.
Yeah. So yeah, it will reduce heat by 3. I think the whispering picks up, and then you start making out what they're saying, and it's not really the mask. It's more like the people you're haunting, you're terrifying. You're hearing kind of like their thoughts or like their frenzied, terrified whispers. What is it? What is it that you're like sending? Is it like hallucination images or just the feeling of dread or?
Ooh. Yeah, I kind of like the idea, like when they try to remember what happened, it's, like when you're playing Slender Man and every time Slender Man comes close, like the whole screen starts shifting, and so every time they try to remember, it gets scarier and scarier each time, and their memories get fuzzier and fuzzier. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of like whispers of like what is happening? And I think some of them are like calling for their lords to save them. Some of them are calling for the faith to save them. There are like some vampires who are like sound more annoyed than scared, but I think you can even tell as you're kind of leeching their minds that like something's coming, something's extending its influence, for sure. But that's fun. Okay. So what do we see Drell cooking for Betula after this?
I think now it's peeling root vegetables. We the chicken is the fowl is hanging behind. Now he's cleaning vegetables.
All right, let's cut back to Yannick. You have one more downtime action. What do you want to do?
I also want to reduce heat, I think.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, are you sure? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
There's no risk to reducing heat.
Yeah, no worries.
So what do you do to what does Yannick do to reduce the heat?
I think, he's Yannick, I think I'm gonna my idea, I don't know if it's like a great idea, was to offer healing services to people in power.
Ooh. So like your local magistrates,
yeah.
Not necessarily vampires.
Not necessarily vampires, but kind of like the people we might have to deal with more often.
Tax collectors.
Yeah. People with the money.
No, this is really good. In this Blades campaign I'm playing, I think I'm doing the exact same thing, offering healing services to reduce heat. So what action are you rolling for this?
Let me say it is a tune.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It's a more mystical kind of healing than what my character is doing in Duskwall. Cool. So let's roll a tune, and that's again it's gonna color what this looks like.
And that's 2d6.
Yes.
A 3 and a 6. Wait, no, it like changed. Now it's a 3 and a 3.
Oh yeah.
Awful. Roll for your party. How dare you?
Why you do this to me?
If not for its clock functionality, I don't know if we'd be using Roll for Your Party, but the clocks are really useful.
True.
Yeah, so with a roll of a 3, we just reduce it by 1. So so you still reduce heat, but why isn't it like as effective as scaring the living bejesus out of people?
I kind of want to say that maybe kind of going with what Iona said to me, like maybe it is harder to call, like for some reason it's harder to call on the small gods to help, and so it's not the most complete healing. It's like, oh, I can deal with your symptoms, but you're still gonna have tuberculosis or something. Or like it might recur.
Yeah, fair enough. Like, you're not your old fate isn't as spread out as
we don't have the antibiotics yet.
Yeah. Fair enough. Sorry, I keep coming back to Drell because what's next? I do like that you're cooking. It's like a Hannibal style cooking montage. Juxtaposed to more pleasant. Well, I say more pleasant. Well, no, more pleasant things than whatever the hell Hannibal Lecter is up to. But like, oh god, it's just gonna make me hungry. Yeah.
Yeah. So
What do we see
now,
next?
now we're seeing, the vegetables are in a cooking dish with the fowl, and he's, putting that, sealing that in a pot to go over the fire.
Okay, I'm not going to address that in chat. Look, Hannibal has some great. Okay, never mind. I think then Betula, you think the last downtime actually is yourself. And I think I kind of like once that's done, let's have dinner between the three of yourselves, or at least like a short scene with dinner. But Betula, what do you want to do? Are you also going to reduce heat again?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking maybe I can spend one supply so that we can get an extra downtime action, because I would like to start up a clock. Basically, I'm trying to find a weakness in my father that I can exploit, because I have a mud.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so that I'll start up that clock. I think. How will I do it? Is there a stat for spite? Anyway, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna say this is 8 steps as well. Your father is high up.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use study. I think that makes sense. Like,
how are you studying this?
Yeah.
Like, what are you studying? What are you doing?
Yeah, I think like we see like it's one of those shots where like you see people walking back and forth in the town, and then you notice Betula's like getting closer and closer, like watching the people who come and go, keeping track of who is talking to their father, or just trying to gather information, see who's a weak link.
You still got an inside woman in Samsor, the one who helped you get out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Maybe we could say that like Samsor helped me like get the first few. Yeah, that's a good one, actually. That's a really good idea. Yeah. I'll say I start with that, and then Samsor is like helping me know who to track, right? Yeah, so I'll go ahead and roll. Okay.
That's your study, which is pretty good.
Yeah, 4. Not bad. Is it going to stay at 4? It stayed at 4. Okay, it's going to betray me. It's going to like...
All right, 2 ticks. So I think we get a shot of like maybe you and Samsor are talking in some clandestine sort of place. I think where in Cardenfell does your father, or maybe Samsor meets you not near where your father is. That seems risky.
Yeah. Ooh, can we say, I'd probably say it's Innisfirth. That I'm trying to think. I think it makes sense. Maybe I think it's Innisfirth. It's close to the Brinkwood. Yeah. And they're not like, it's an Assassin's Creed kind of situation, hiding like clandestine meetings, so on and so forth. Like, be a great video game.
Yeah, and I think jeez, I need to play more Assassin's Creed.
Ooh, Odyssey is so good, but it's so different, but it's really good.
I think like Samsor is what's changed since you last saw her?
Ooh.
Yeah, what actually I was asking that out loud, but I realized no, I should ask you this. What's changed since you last saw her?
Yeah, I think Samsor, because when I look at the photo with the picture, like she looks pretty young, but I think what I notice is like there's this unnatural white lock of hair, like a rogue-like situation. And when I try to ask her about it, she just avoids the question. So it worries me.
I think like for some reason I'm imagining where you're meeting. She has soup with her. I don't know why. She's using the soup to like warm her hands, and she says, I think for this too, here's the tidbit that she gives you. Your father's married again.
I see. Was it arranged by the noble court, or?
It was one of, well, I think she kind of like wraps her a bit. Well, Lady Betula, forgive me for some impertinence, but I was unaware of any marriages for love in amongst amongst the vampire court. I do not think this
Well,
one is any different.
there is also father had his tastes of torment, so
This, I'm yes, I think she wants to say I'm quite aware of Marquis Creighton's taste, so she just kind of waves that off. But I do believe this match though. He may have found his match.
perhaps we can take advantage of this. Thank you, Samsor.
I do wish you good luck, Lady Betula. I wouldn't want you to be at any further risk. You managed to get away. And I would not ask where you're staying. That's information that should be kept to yourself. I just hope that wherever you are, wherever you can go, you'll be far away from this place.
Yes, I think I may have found a new family. So, Samsor, do not worry for me. But to keep you safe, let's not meet again for another moon. Please be careful.
I'll endeavor to do so, my lady. And like she takes a sip from her soup. All right, and I think
you know what? I think I'm gonna say I brought some lunch from Drell.
Yeah, what is this
like,
lunch?
Like
yeah,
a packed lunch.
Yeah.
Drell, what did I bring?
I think probably I think a really good kind of vegetable stew. Really meaty in a vegetable sense.
Right, like it's thick and there's a lot going on. Ooh, nice.
Hell yeah. Okay, so I think we're reaching the top of the hour. I know there's still like one more downtime action because Jamie, you spent a supply to do that project. So we're gonna take our last break. I think it's good. Let's break for 10. And I think the plan for the rest is like we're probably not gonna get into a foray. We're just gonna I do kind
Set
of
it up
see,
maybe. Yeah.
set it up, do some free play, talk amongst
Yeah.
yourselves, talk to your associates, etc. But yeah, let's come back in 10 minutes. That's okay with
Cool.
folks.
See you all.
Okay, so we still have one more downtime activity to do. I think that's yourself, Betula, right? You wanted to like have one more because like you spent, if I remember correctly, you spent a supply to do that project, and you want to do.
Oh yeah, let me mark that off. Yeah, I forgot.
I already did. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm making sure I'm marking off all this stuff. So.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Yeah. I am going to. I think I'm going to study our taxman. Like I'm going to sort of use that to lower the heat a bit. I think with my study, I'm trying to figure out if it sort of like covers it, like just inconvenience them a little bit.
Yeah, I think that should be fine. Hold on, I need to look up some.
Yeah, because gather information and apply knowledge. So yeah.
This is to reduce heat. Yeah.
Yeah, Betula's stalking a lot. Basically, I should really get Prowl to like later to justify all this like stalkiness. But yeah. So I'm gonna roll 2 dice to reduce heat. Whoa, 6 and a 4. Yeah. Goodbye for now, heat. You can bother us next time when we start killing numerous vampires, but for now, we're okay.
For now, yeah. Yeah. So how is your studying? I'll give you details on this tax man. I think I will go with that first picture you suggested, Alan, the blue one.
With the little like goggles, glasses things.
God,
cool.
yeah. Damn it. Okay. All right, sorry, no, I was looking at a name generator and I lost the name I was going to give this tax man. I think, yeah.
Oh, I put one here.
Oh,
Let me see. Emmanuel Tobin.
oh yes, that was his name. Yes, Emmanuel
Yeah,
Tobin.
yeah.
So yeah, you find out his name, and I think, yeah, you spot him around because he rolled a 6. Yeah, this may color the foray we're gonna get into. Like, what? Yeah, give me a detail about him. Like, how's his entourage like? Clearly, it's prominent enough that it gets a clock put on the board. So it's definitely like something that the Cardenfell would notice. But what is it about the way he's going through the town, his tour of Cardenfell? What is it that? What's a distinctive detail about it? Like, what's the security like? Or
is it too early? This is like a little meta knowledge, so feel free to say no, Leandro. But I'd love it if he has a group of porcelain with him. That'd be cool and creepy. So the porcelain look like, yeah, but once again, feel free to change that. But yeah, so basically the porcelain, they look like women from afar, but if you come up close, you realize that they're like these joints, these small joints, and their faces are just pure porcelain that don't move. They're the Countess's favored. And I think they're just, and you can never tell who they're looking at or what they're looking at. And I think I'm going to add is every time they speak, they just say one word each. And so it's like this sentence that strings across the group. And I can tell as I'm watching that they're very subservient to him, but what he does not pick up on is that they don't respect him.
Yeah, I kind of want to add that, like, it's hard to see. It's hard to see their emotion. I kind of want to give him this weeping angel kind of like quality of
yeah.
Like, it's, you can see them moving, but like it doesn't translate in their head. Like, so it's not exactly like, you have to look at them so they don't stop moving. But it's definitely that, like, when Emmanuel Tobin rolls into town in his like cart, he is kind of like these porcelain dolls. They just kind of like appear around him, and he's and you can tell he's not a very impressive guy. He's wearing these these weird glasses. He's got this ridiculous hat. His clothes are kind of ill-fitting, and he's talking in like this. He's talking in so many wheedling kind of terms. I think like you really notice that like he's going to like a bunch of farms. It's kind of like what he's mostly going on. Like he's still going to town and is getting taxes there, but like he's like going to like these communal farms, and it's like you can tell people are not happy when he's around, but they dare not say anything because these damn porcelain are like, you don't know what they do. For sure, it's creepy, but the heat is on him now instead of you lot. So you folk. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so here we're kind of going to like a bit of free play. So I've got an idea of like how to tie in this foray with the taxman with a bunch of faction stuff, but I kind of want to go around each of you. Like if there's a scene you want to see either with each other or an associate or with your fae, fae, call them fae friend, yeah, or other things like, and of course if you want to do more downtown actions, you will have to spend supply for that. But yeah, have a think about what sort of thing you want to highlight here.
Can I just check in? What how do masks gain experience? Because they do, don't they?
At the end of a session, there's a criteria at the very bottom. We're going to go through that when we finish the session.
Oh, okay, fine.
Yes. But yeah, give me a moment to think of like what you want to see, and we'll probably go right to left on the character keeper then. So we'll start with Yannick. And it could be just as simple as like maybe your character hang out with another PC in the refuge or talking to the Fae. This could be like a moment where we spotlight how you made your oath or whatever. So I think that was the thing we were meant to do, but we we had a whale of a time creating this Fae.
Oh, I think I got it. Fine. Yeah, I'm still just gonna build on things that Iona maybe made me think about, which is like, how hard is it to talk to the small gods these days? I think I'm gonna talk to Betula about it because I've been helping them.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I consider you like a teacher.
Great teacher.
Yeah. So what does that look like? Like frame the scene for us.
Where would I find Betula in our refuge?
Well, but Betula's not being creepy with the mask down in the roots. You can usually find them in the upper branches, singing with the birds. We have those birds in the background, so definitely like.
Yeah, I think Yannick wanders around the refuge and like probably hears Betula singing and like climbs the tree branches and pulls himself up to like sit next to them. And kind of doesn't say anything for a while because he just listens to them singing.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, like, we're comfortable enough to be together in silence a bit or just to chill. Yeah, and I think when that happens, Betula's song shifts a little bit. And it sounds like the song is inspired by a prayer that's connected to your faith.
And Yannick will whistle along a little bit and then drift off. And then there's probably like a pause, and he'll say, How have your studies been going?
Yes, Yannick, they have been going well. It is such a joy to be free, to be away from where I came from, to speak to the little gods on their own terms.
Have they been speaking to you?
Well, I do. When they speak to me, they don't use words, but they show me images in my mind. Do you know when you read a book and you can see it in your head, it looks and feels like that. And sometimes I feel them touching a shoulder or their presence, and it grows a little stronger each day. I am most grateful.
I'm surprised, or I'm glad they've taken such a liking to you.
Well, I may have said that it's because we are good friends.
Oh, I see. Have they spoken to you recently since the foray in Shpeforth? I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, no worries. I think like there's this flashback of like Betula speaking to the mask. No, not recently. I have been distracted by emotions that do not attract the little gods. I have been struggling with this desire for vengeance, but I am spending this time with the birds to clear my mind, and I hope to reconnect with the little gods today.
The little gods are not there for us to pick and choose when we pay attention to them. I'm worried that by allowing yourself to be distracted, you may offend them.
I see. I will keep that in mind, Yannick. I thank you for your guidance.
And Yannick's totally hypocrite because he was playing with his own little mask.
Yeah, do you just like have these masks with you, kind of like, while in the refuge, or is there like a place you keep some of them at least, or a place where you keep them?
Didn't we say that that we marked our faces with a kind of charcoal, and that conjured them into being?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Like they're small.
Yeah, so they exist in the ether.
Yes. And I think like when you mark your charcoal, and there's probably like some special kind of charcoal that the the Celadine is giving you, and then you pledge
We
your
talked
oath.
about ash, I think, given ash
Yes.
is significant.
Cool,
Yes.
cool.
So it is kind of like the masks are always kind of like with you to an extent. It's just like whichever one you call upon is kind of like the one that's most with you at any given time.
Nice.
Since we just had Betula in that scene, you mind if I come to Drell? See.
Yeah, no, that was actually the scene I also had in mind, so I'm totally cool with that being it for Betula, no worries.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Drell, is there anything you want to like highlight?
I think the only thing that I was interested in was just, I think, a scene with Holgin, a village elder who taught me near everything I know. And I think we'll see Holgin in his barn at night. Maybe with a lantern because he's heard a noise. And out of the shadows behind him comes Drell. He says, "Hello, old man."
I think oh, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead.
No, that's my opener.
Yeah, I think like Holgan just kind of like sighs and puts on the lanterns and says, "Your taste for the dramatics gives you away, boy. Always has."
Habits, Holgin, habits.
Well, if you're off making noise, just as what you did in Shpeforth, well, there may be some habits you're gonna need to burn off, Drell. They might just come to bite you.
Did we do a good thing, Holgin?
Well, I wouldn't say no to them folk being released. Some of them pass by here. You might want to hear. They're much happier being out and about, for sure, than wherever it is they were stuck in. I just hope you know what you're doing. Painting a bloody big target on your back.
It's not my back I'm worried about, old man.
Well, you better start worrying for once, Drell. Because people around you might get a bit tired worrying for you.
And then we cut to Drell and he's gone.
Figures. I think like whenever Holgan's just like people are gonna be worried for you. I think when he ever gets around that's when Drell kind of like always kind of disappears. And he's just kind of muttering to himself.
Yeah, not good at emotion.
Of course. Yeah, and I think okay. I think what kind of like happens after this, kind of like to introduce how this fray is going to happen. I think probably like there's a moment in your like meeting, like in your dinner meeting room, where Celadine, who is just kind of like sitting where they're usually sitting as always, they've got their is it a gates? A gates, right? The jewels. I think like they're just kind of like staring at the jewels, and then I think they kind of just say out loud in kind of like that whisper that kind of like carries throughout the room. There's a visitor looking for us on the edge of the Brinkwood. They come seeking help. Would one of you perhaps greet them and bring them here?
Betula like throws a look towards Drell and the creepy shadow face and stuff, and Betula says, "Yes, perhaps Yannick and I will do it, and Drell could cook lunch."
You look after yourself.
Yes. Oh, and for today, I would love more of that packed lunch. The soup last time was absolutely sublime.
And what becomes clear is that there's always a supply of that particular meaty vegetable stew that he will spoon into a jar and carefully put some some leather or waxed paper or something over the top and bind it up and hand it over.
Yeah, and I think for yourselves, you kind of know your way around at least this part of the Brinkwood. Saladine has kind of like given you that kind of knowledge, but I think this this visitor of yours, it's he's not hard to find because he's quite loud. He's I think he's you hear him exclaiming like, "I can't believe there's these species of lichen are can still be found in this part of the world. Well, why didn't I come to this Brinkwood sooner?" And I think you hear like someone scraping a tree for this kind of like lichen. And I think when you kind of like around like the corner, you spot this youth. I hesitate to call him a man. He's a youth. Um, he's kind of like he's kind of wearing this like rather stylish kind of like coat. It's cut really well. Oh no, the first thing you'd notice is not the coat; it's the antlers on his head. And yeah, he's got these like antlers. He is kind of like he's he's brushing like some sort of like against a tree. He's kind of like looking at this like lichen, and his skin is like emerald. It's like layers of bright emerald leaves, and he has no shoes. He's got like this cloven horned feet, and he's just kind of like muttering to himself about like, oh, wait till the diggers find out that there's these kinds of plants still in this part of the world. Maybe if we like plant them on these fallow kind of and let them grow for like a few more years, and maybe we can get a better yield. Maybe we can come up with like, and I don't think he's noticed any of you, and he's kind of like just muttering to like himself, and he's fretting with his hands.
Yannick, should we interrupt this or?
Yannick like nods and steps out of the trees and like taps him. I think he has like a staff or something, and he taps the youth on the shoulder.
The youth kind of like, yeah, no, he screams. He's like, ah! And he kind of like turns around and goes back, and he pulls out like a small sort of scalpel, or at least what looks like the medieval fantasy equivalent of a scalpel. No, it's more like a, yeah, something like that. And he's like, don't touch me. I'm armed.
Oh, it's a good thing we left Drell home. Friend, we are here to welcome you to the wood.
You're those brigands, right? Them folk who liberated Shpeforth. Or if not so, then be warned. I have many accoutrements that would deliver unholy pain to each and every one of you.
Yes, terrifying. And Betula's trying their best to look scared, but they did just wear the terror mask recently. So, but Betula looks to Yannick to lead the conversation.
Yannick just has his hands out in like a peace. We won't hurt you, and I don't really think you could hurt us either with that.
You could have lied to him a little bit.
I think like when you say that, his shoulders kind of slump, and he says, well, I could. No, it's fine. Okay. So you are those brigands? Yes, I don't have anything to fear, because.
Right. We are those brigands. We do help. If it makes you feel better, I was scared for a moment.
Well, Clinder always says like a moment's all you need when you're caught in a spot. But
those are indeed wise words.
I told them they should someone more intimidating. Is there a place we can talk? I was sent by the diggers to make contact with this Fey brigand lot.
Yes, we do. We have heard rumors of the diggers. Come, follow us, and do try to keep up, young one.
I'll certainly can. Try, can, will. Yes, I will. Yes. Lead the way. And I think like we get like not a montage, but like I think on the journey, I think you find this boy is a bit easily distracted. I think he starts yelling at, "Oh my God, is that Feldspar?" At some point. So, like,
please do not disturb the birds. So just a little inside voice.
Yeah, and I think they do. I think you do manage to bring him to the refuge. I think Saladin's kind of like told you, like, there are multiple ways into this refuge, and everyone kind of like forgets how to get back there, except for you. You like blessed by them. But yeah, I think you bring him to like the dinner meeting place, and Drell is there, I assume, looking as he does, and Saladin is there, always kind of like at the seat, just kind of like looking. And I think like this youth can like speak up and says, salutations to this refuge, to this to you hardy band of rebels. My name is Johan. I'm a representative of the diggers. We're farmers, but it's a bit more impressive than that. We're farmers who believe in a purpose. Okay, hold on. And he pulls out like a letter, and there's like a note on it, and he starts reading from it.
Letter's a good idea. Yes. Just read the words. Breathe. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Drell, you were going to speak up? So
no, Drell, don't say anything. Okay, I see you open your mouth, like with your voice.
Never be ashamed of growing food for people, boy.
It's a compliment.
I assume so. Yes. Well, I guess
Drell's compliments always sound threatening.
Yeah. It's like talking to the Undertaker. Yeah, I think he's just kind of like, I think he looks at the words and he's just like, okay, well, you must know of the diggers. Then we would like to believe ourselves as well. Some of us are visionaries, some of us are botanists, but in the long and short of it, we are farmers. We are interested in cultivating land for the community, for the people, for those who absolutely need it. But we've had trouble of late, at least keeping some of our farms up and running. You've heard of this tax man that they have roaming around, our dear esteemed Emmanuel Tobin, and well, the diggers would be most obliged if there is a way to discourage our dear tax friend from keeping up with his activities. And I think like he puts a letter, which is separate from his opening spiel. It's like this thick kind of like out on the table, and he says, on the table is a proposition for an operation, a chance to lure Mr. Tobin to a place where you could discourage him from continuing his activities. In there it would be proper communications from from our leaders, from Clindra, and from Bridget, our quartermaster. It is an extension of further cooperation, basically, between ourselves and yourselves. And I think like Saladin kind of like leans kind of like forward.
Oh, Saladin's there. He must be wetting himself.
Yeah, exactly. That's why Johan is still. Really...
That's why I asked you to not talk to add to it. Though I do like Drell talking. I'm just saying that's why Betula was desperately, But yeah, and I think like Betula is trying to every time Yoan's eyes flicker towards the Fae to sort of, push themselves to break the. Because we know that looking at the Fae can be a little much for such a young child.
I'll say he's not that young. He's like a student. But he is, he's a youth. He's I think, describe him as a youth. And I think, Saladin is like kind of like leaning forward, and I think their eyes kind of like flicker to the three of you, and they say, I would defer to those who have lived this land. Is this relationship, this grouping, the diggers, would they be worth the effort, do you think? Would it be worth it to help them in their time of need?
Without them, we don't eat.
Anyone who helps those in need is worthy of our cause.
I think Yoan is like, he looks like he's relaxing a bit more. It's like, oh, I think he lets out a big long. Oh, okay, that's
good job, boy. Like thumbs up. You did good. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Oh, okay, that's very good to hear. I'm glad you're accepting. He's speaking in bursts.
Look, soup. I'm like pushing the soup towards him.
Yeah, I think Saladin kind of like smiles in his direction. So it's just like, and I think like no, but I think Saladin is like content to like let the three of you calm him down. Okay, so sounds like we've got the bones of our next foray, which is discouraged. It's Emmanuel Tobin. So let me scroll back up to working out, what to do in a foray, and we're not gonna jump into it. I think what we're gonna do is we'll get to at least the engagement role, and that's
sure,
and that could be like a cliffhanger for this session. But yeah, so let me scroll back up to forays, because there's lots of stuff you can do beforehand. I would say that like when you read the letter, it's a letter from the digger's quartermaster, Bridget, and it's quite curt and straightforward. Basically, they know that Emmanuel Tobin is going to be at Hogswick in the next couple of days. They are going to be looking over the records of a farm called Hightower Farm. Actually, no, that's way too posh for a farm. Hold on, let me find a different name. No, I don't know. I'm looking at a Blades in the Dark name generator. No, Even Steps. There we go. Even Steps Farm. And it's kind of like a sprawl. It's a bit sprawling compared to like most other like farms, and clearly it's like a proper communal farm that the diggers have set up. There's like multiple like people there, hanging out, living the land, making sure things are fine, and it is kind of like a place that they don't. It's simultaneously a place that they don't want Emmanuel Tobin looking into, and also a kind of good place for an ambush because it's so big. So pros and cons there. And Bridget basically says that like the particulars of how you want to discourage Emmanuel Tobin will be left to yourselves. That's your prerogative, but here is an opportunity
to basically like scare him off or make them leave. Like
it's a chance. Basically, it's a chance for you to like finish kill off that collect taxes clock before it fills up.
Cool.
Sure. And yeah, they're gonna leave the particulars to yourselves. You want to scare him.
The Drell.
Or we could do that. Mm-hmm.
We'll get to it. All right, let me scroll down past masks. Yeah, we've done masks. Foray. So yeah, planning. We find out what happens. All we need is a goal, an opportunity, an approach, and a detail. So The goal of the foray will depend on what the brigands want to accomplish. So basically, yeah, this is kind of like a small scale, not raid, but an ambush. Building on a success, this is like we're gonna scare off Emmanuel Tobin. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Cool.
I like it.
Cool. So the opportunity, you kind of have the opportunity, like where's the foray taking place, who was our primary target. If anyone wants to like scout the place to get an additional sort of opportunity, kind of like what Yannick did when he went to Shpeforth Isle, we could do that. You've got some time before the start. So anyone want to scout?
I'd like to try hunt.
Sounds good.
Okay. So so we'll roll that, and then we'll kind of frame around the effect, how the stress is, not the stress, how the action is, or what you roll. So,
do I roll just the one dice because I've got hunt at 1?
Yes, yeah, I think this is a gather information kind of like
Okay.
So there's no like.
So I'll roll the bottom dot dice. That's just a 3.
Ooh. So on a 1 to 3, it's gonna be a bit difficult. So I think I'm gonna turn it to you, Drell. What, besides what we know, which is the porcelains, why is this target difficult to attack, and what makes going after it still worth it? So that's kind of like the 2 questions. So Drell, you're in the farm. What do you see that kind of makes things difficult for yourselves?
I think though this is a big space, it covers a lot of acres. Most of those acres offer no cover, no easy ambush, and the best ambush sites are actually where there could be quite a lot of collateral damage.
Yeah. What do you think makes it still worth it? Look, hunting this person down.
Oh, he deserves to die.
We must save the town, yes. From cruel taxmen.
He's a middle cog in this oppressive regime.
Yeah, do we want to establish that he's like extra cruel, or that kind of, like, you see him? Yeah,
I've seen him. I mean, he squeezes the last penny out of people who don't have a penny.
Well, I will say, what I want to add is that like he wouldn't be able to do this if not for the muscle behind him, which is the porcelains.
Yeah. I was about to say like he's using them to be extra cruel.
Yeah, he's spectacularly unimpressive if not for the porcelains. But because of that, he got a little bit of power. He can afford to like kick people around just a bit more. Cool. So we have that. So now kind of like we're going to the approach. Your approach indicates how your band plans to engage with the foray and accomplish their goal. Keep in mind, an approach is not a guarantee or a fail condition. Things can start out stealthy and then end up with Galadriel, all who worship me will despair. That could happen. Yeah, so we have our list of approaches. They're in the player reference. So
yeah, I think oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna go through the list again, but I think we already did that previous session. So yeah, leave amongst yourselves. What do you think the approach is going to be?
We need to frighten him off.
Ooh. Are we going dramatic? Did I sound too excited?
I think if we engage the porcelains, we risk harm to the people of the farm.
Right. Yeah, maybe dramatic. Like we could sow chaos, like not like in the farm, but like make it difficult for him. Sort of sabotage him. Does that make sense? Like, is that what you were thinking?
What I was actually thinking was that we need to find a way to frighten the living daylights out of him, so he turns around and goes away.
So is this tactical?
I think
targeting him specifically.
That's what I'm thinking.
With a tiny bit of the dramatic.
Cool. To yeah. I like
make
that.
it scary.
Like
yeah. So how will you gain that advantage?
We need to get him on his own.
Yeah, we need to separate him. Maybe it'll be a two-pronged thing where we distract the porcelain with something else. But I'm wondering if we could like ask, like the idea I have is that there is this old, half-forgotten god in the Brinkwood that feeds on fear, and like we could maybe work with them because we have two attuners. So I thought that would be kind of cool. Like
Yeah.
use
Isn't
this
that
fear
one of the
nightmare creature.
masks?
Yeah.
Well, it could be like a mask. It could be an old god. The nice thing is that, like, if you come up with an idea in the middle of foray, like, oh, we can do this. That's what flashbacks are for. Yeah.
Exactly.
What if there's a small god that protects the farms, like of the farmlands, and be like, this is a man that's come to take your tenders away.
I just realized I haven't had lunch. You mentioned tenders. I'm like, oh, I want some chicken tenders. Sorry, we're nearly to the end. I just realized I've not had lunch, and we were talking about Hannibal. Yeah. Oh,
but yeah, definitely. I think yeah, we could work from that, and we can like finalize it next time. So
yeah, that sounds really cool. Like you commune to the small god to help in the farm to separate him from his porcelains, and then Drell can put the fear of everything on him. That sounds cool for Ray. Is that okay with everyone? There's no. I think we can do reconnaissance, but I think. Where am I? Sorry, I clicked on the wrong tab. You can do more reconnaissance, but it sounds like it kind of have everything.
Yeah, I think it feels fairly straightforward. I think we're okay.
Yeah. All right. So
you can always flashback if ever.
Yeah.
They always seem straightforward, Betula.
Oh, Drell. I don't know what our face sees in you. You're so dour. But she's like, but they're like smiling while they say they're obviously joking.
Okay, so we're gonna do engagement. I think we're gonna end there after the engagement roll.
Cool.
And then we'll do mask XP and whatnot. Okay, so start with 1 dice for pure sheer luck. Consider the land. Is the territory particularly seditious or friendly? Well, they invited you to come here to do this, so yeah, you take 1 die. Are the common people fearful or less willing to help? Is the vampire presence strong here? No, it's a communal farm from the diggers, and you have like they're ready for this. Have any recent entanglements interfered with your ability to act freely? Not really. No, not this this tax man. He has not taxed the Brinkwood yet. He probably would want to, but no. Is your approach something your enemies are particularly weak against?
Well, given the description of his character, he is susceptible to fear, isn't he?
Yeah, I think I would say so. So that's another die. I'm too nice to people. Unfortunate our games, it's too much. Let's see. Contrary-wise, are enemies strong against your chosen approach? No. Are any of your associates able to help you in this foray? You may need to flashback a negotiation with them to convince them to aid you. But if so, gain +1 die and mark that associate off. So, is any associate that any of you 3 have? Do you think they'd be helpful? If not, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, yeah. Do you? I might have something, but I'll let the others say first if they have an associate in mind.
I'm wondering if maybe other practitioners of the old faith would be helpful for talking to the small gods.
Ooh, yeah.
Right. That's cool.
I don't know if it's Iona or like another member like of this. Well, I guess we don't really have aspiring so far.
Yeah. But the thing is, it has to be like in your list of associates. So which ones do Yannick have? Yeah. So we got Friar
Iona.
Iona.
Oh,
yeah.
Iona's a new one. Yeah.
Yeah, the new one.
Yeah.
Cool.
How does we'll probably do this scene. We'll probably do the scene actually later in the next session. So I do want to know how does Yannick like how do Yannick and Iona contact this small god? Cool. So either way, 4 dice. It's a lot of dice, and we still got more criteria. Is your fae particularly helpful against this enemy? Can they provide in counsel, advice, or intelligence of particular use? I get the feeling that for this one, Celadine's kind of like, you got this. This seems up your wheelhouse. I don't know if they'd offer any more help besides that. I think this is kind of like not really sink or swim because they know you're gonna swim. They don't expect you to sink. I think they're kind of like that, for at least for this foray. Are any of your band injured? Nope. Have you conducted a foray at this location?
I still have some stress.
Well, that's a different. Oh yeah, because I think.
But if it's like as long as it's not a band.
Yeah, I think this criteria might not be strict enough since they've taken out harm from.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Brinkwood,
Sorry,
so.
please testing. There's so many moving parts in a Forge of the Dark game, so.
Yeah. Have you conducted a foray at this location recently? I don't think Shpeforth Isle is a ways away from Hogswick. There's like an entire city or an entire town in between them. Oh, there's a step I forgot to ask. Load. What load are y'all bringing to this? Like
light for me.
Also light.
Jeez, everyone's going light. Okay. So does your average load affect your approach? I'm trying to think. No, I don't think it really affects it. Like you're here to like scare him. You're not really here to infiltrate a location. So having light isn't like a big factor. I think it evens out. I don't think you get an extra die for this. Are you using any extra resources to gain an advantage in your engagement roll, such as blood, sterling, ashwood, or black powder? I'll remind folks what ashwood and black powder does. Black powder is a combustible substance used to fire pistols and rifles with great force. Whenever you tick off a powder, whenever you like use up one powder, you get like 3 uses per character. You use the powder to upgrade the effect of a weapon that uses powder, such as pistol or rifle, upgrading the effect of a detonation or explosion, or 1 unit of black powder may be spent to gain +1 die in engagement roll, usually by blowing something up. This doesn't sound like that. Ashwood is gathered from the fallen branches of ashen trees, special tree that grows only in forests home to the Fae. What it does is like it upgrades the effect of a weapon or attack that uses ashwood against a vampire, such as shooting a bow or staking a vampire. Also upgrades the effect of any effort to avoid detection of a vampire. So I don't think it fits here as well. I think this is solidly a guy.
Yeah.
He's not a vampire. That's the thing. You can spend blood sterling to add an extra die, but you're at 4.
Yeah, I think 4 is okay.
We do have 1 blood sterling left, and if we don't use it, doesn't it just get lost?
Oh no, it stays there. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think I'm okay with it staying there, that we can figure out, like, in case we go over. I mean, I don't know how much we can get from this tax dude, but it might be a bit.
Yeah, you're not getting 6 like the last time, I don't think, from this one. Okay, so who wants to roll the dice? 4 die.
Can I just ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
The porcelain are not vampires.
No.
And remind me what steel does?
Steel. Let me double check because I'm also kind of forgetting.
Yeah, I don't think we used it as an attacking thing. So
let me double check. Steel. No, +2 steel.
Could be for the weapons, I guess.
Steel. Okay. Useful to get the upper hand and improve equipment. Okay, steel is a force to be reckoned with. It's hard to come by. It can be spent in the following ways. 6 steel may be spent to permanently upgrade your band's weapons and armor. So basically, your quality of your weapons go up if you spend 6 steel. 4 steel may be spent to permanently upgrade your cohort's weapons. Basically, steel is for
it's academic.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not for array, basically. No. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not for array. It's for like bulking yourselves up or your allies up. So, but anyway, who wants to roll the 4 dice?
Yeah, I bullied someone else into doing it last time, so I can do it. Please don't be upset if I roll low. I'm gonna add 1 more die. 1. Okay, so I'm rolling.
You're rolling one by one? Oh, okay, no.
No. I just added one.
Okay. I thought you were doing one by one. It's like, oh, that's a 2. Next one.
We got a 6.
Did we?
I mean, we got a 6.
Did we? I'm not seeing a 6.
But I see the 6 here. Is this not a 6?
No, that's a 1.
I'm not seeing any dice. I'm
It was
seeing
a
my
6,
dice
and then you
Yannick's
moved
dice.
it, and it turned into a 1.
Really? I
Come
still see a
on.
6. Here, see? Like I'm sharing the screen. So I don't know what that means.
Oh my god, come on. I'm seeing a 1.
We have to complain
That looks like a
on
1.
the Slack. We have to complain because I see a 6.
Okay, you know what? I believe you. You see a 6, you rolled the dice, therefore it's a 6. I'm burning this dice
So
through. I'm
awful.
gonna figure out another way to do clocks. But yeah, I'll believe
So
you. That's
annoying.
a 6.
That's so
I
frustrating.
think like we'll get a shot. I think we'll just get a shot then of the farm, kind of like roll a 6. You're in a control position. You'll be fine. So I think no, we don't get a shot of the farm. I think we get a shot of this like not caravan, but like actually, it might be a bit of a caravan. There's like these 2 wagons, or like these 2. There's a wagon and there's like a carriage. The carriage is at the front, and they kind of crest up the hill, looking down at this like kind of sprawling farm, even steps. And I think we get a shot of Emmanuel Tobin inside the carriage, fast asleep. Obviously, the big loud sort of thing. There's a goblet in his hand. It's quarter full. The rest has kind of sloshed onto his pants. And then I think the carriage kind of jerks forward, and he kind of wakes up like, all right. And he tries to rub his eyes, but if he remembers he's wearing these glasses, like, because glasses are new in Cardenfell. And I think the carriage starts going down the hill towards even steps, and then I think we get a shot of like the covered up wagon coming up behind him, and I think you get like there's this like a gallery of these like 6 porcelain statues, just kind of like still, standing still in the wagon as they come down to Even Steps Farm. And I think we'll leave it off there for this session. You're gonna be fine. Rolled 6 on an engagement roll. It's gonna be grand.
We just confirmed that it's dusk.
Yeah, I think I'll let you like confirm that, because
Cool.
You rolled a 6. Everyone's okay with it being dusk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop this recording. Thanks very much, everyone, for God. Yeah.
Did we do experience?
Thanks for reminding me. Let's do that. So let's turn to the masks tab. So it's the same for each mask. At the end of each session, each item below, mark 1 mask XP or 2 mask XP if that item occurred multiple times. When the mask XP fills, choose a new special ability or add a new mask dot. So, did you fulfill your oath to the mask? Remind folks of the oaths.
My oath was not to let my enemy die quickly, and so that's why I marked him to hunt him down across time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'd like to suggest that also counts as defeated a vampire of a higher threat than your tier.
Yeah, I'll let you have that. Sure, why not?
We drove him from the field. He was dragged from the field by his retainers.
Yes, he was spitting mad.
But I'm not sure I can claim that that the Mask of Ruin strengthened a fellow brigand or ally.
Yeah, the last bit. But so that's still 2. Oh, I'm not sure if it's in the thing. We can have a maximum of 3 mask XP. Yeah, I think I fought hard against this. I've told Eric I want to give more XP, but because we get so much XP between the mask and the brigand.
Okay, so you can only earn like 3 XP per session.
Maximum for the mask.
Okay,
Yeah.
for the mask. Okay. Yeah. So. Oh yeah. For
That
the
said, I don't think we've earned any XP for the brigands yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. Not like I said, not many. Whenever I run a Forge of Dark stuff, it's hard to get to desperate because everyone keeps rolling a 6. It's infuriating. Like like anyway, okay, I was about to launch an anecdote, but I'm going to stop this recording. Again, fabulous thanks to these players who are really helping to color in Cardenfell. I think we're finally getting we're getting a lot more of the world now and how you all kind of like fit into this world, which is fab. Can't wait to see how we keep digging into this bloody land. It sounds like the name of a lyric game, This Bloody Land. I'm gonna note that for myself. Anyway, we'll stop this recording. Thanks very much again for anyone who's watching. If you want to check out Brinkwood, link down below. Gauntlet, link down below. I'll see you all next week. So bye, YouTube.